Feeling constantly exhausted, breaking out unexpectedly, or dealing with bloating that will not quit no matter how clean you're living, you might be missing one key connection, and that's how your nervous system, your skin, and your gut are all talking to each other. And in today's episode, I want to share how chronic stress disrupts your body's most important healing systems and what you can do about it today to restore that balance. So, stay tuned. Hey friend, welcome to Gut Fix. Are you ready to finally get rid of those debilitating digestive symptoms? Do you catch yourself staying up late Googling things like, what can I eat? Or how do I stop a flare? Or maybe you're just lying awake wondering, how did this ever happen to me? I'm Wendy, and I've been exactly where you are, desperately searching for answers, but determined to find natural solutions. And like you, I was overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there and unsure of what might really work for me. And so now in this podcast, I'm here to share with you what I've learned, how to listen to your body's signals, and uncover the common mistakes that might be standing in the way of your healing. So grab your favorite drink, pop in your earbuds, and let's dive into your health transformation together. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Gut Fix. So, have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, why do I look so tired even though I've just slept 7 or 8 hours? Or maybe you felt like your gut and your skin are just rebelling for no apparent reason. You know, I've been there. And back when I was battling IBD, one of the first signs for me that I was, about to go into a flare was fatigue. I just would be fatigued all the time. I could sleep 8 hours and I was still fatigued. Then the IBD flare would start to kick in. But then there were times when I would also experience skin issues. Like all of a sudden I would be breaking out and I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I'm 40 something years old. Why am I breaking out? Well, I wanted to kind of connect the dots between chronic stress, your gut health, and skin inflammation, because it really is a triangle that you can't afford to ignore, especially if you're over 40. So, there is an axis between stress, gut, and skin. And just to break it down, when you're under chronic stress, you tend to have a cortisol overload. And if you remember, cortisol is very catabolic, and it can do things like disrupt your digestion. It can deplete your stomach acid, which, as we get older, stomach acid is depleted anyway, so you're depleting it even further. And that can increase your risk of getting leaky gut. Welcome back to another episode of Gut Fix. So, have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, my gosh, why do I look so tired even though I just slept like 7 or 8 hours? Or you've maybe felt like your gut and your skin are rebelling for no apparent reason. Well, I can remember when I was battling IBD, one of the first signs that a flare was coming was the fact that I was fatigued all the time, no matter what happened. But then the flare would start. And then there were times when all of a sudden I had skin issues and I was breaking out and I'm thinking, how can this be? I'm 40, I'm in my 40s and this shouldn't be happening anymore. Well, today I want to connect the dots between chronic stress, gut health, and skin inflammation, because it's a triangle that you can't afford to ignore, especially if you're over 40. So when you have chronic stress, whether it's perceived or real, you tend to have a cortisol overload. And when you have cortisol overload, if you remember that cortisol is catabolic, and it can disrupt your digestion. It can deplete your stomach acid, which is increasing your risk for leaky gut. And, as we get older anyway, our stomach acid starts to deplete naturally, right? And so now you put chronic stress on it. Now you're really depleting that stomach acid. When you have leaky gut and inflammation, that activates immune responses that tend to show up on the skin. It can show up as a rash. It can show up as eczema, or just dullness, you just don't look, you don't have the right coloring, or you just look dull, or in some premature aging. So skin is your largest organ, and it is a detox organ. So when your liver and your gut are overwhelmed, that's when your skin takes the hit. And the hormonal shifts in midlife, that's going to amplify these effects. So I want to give you 3 practical tips on how you can, overcome this. So tip number 1 is your nervous system regulation, and that comes first. So whether you're living in a chronic state of, or a state of chronic stress, and whether it's obvious stress or it could be very sneaky, like you are a perfectionist, you tend to overthink, or you are overthinking things right now. Or you just, have to feel like you're constantly on, right? So if it's at work, you have to feel like you're constantly on. Your body then shifts into fight or flight mode. And that stress response literally turns down your digestion. It impairs your ability to absorb nutrients and increases intestinal permeability. And, that's what we call leaky gut, which you probably know as leaky gut. Well, you can't heal your gut while your brain still thinks it's being chased by a tiger, right? So even small, consistent habits to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode, can have a massive impact. So try things like breath work. And that is just simply stopping, taking 4 to 6 deep belly breaths, and that can signal safety to your brain. So you can try box breathing or, 4, 7, 8 patterns before you eat, right? That'll help with the digestion, because you don't want to eat when you're anxious, right? You want to be in a parasympathetic mode, rest, digest. So another thing that you can do is stimulate that vagus nerve. And this could be simple things like you could just be humming or singing. You could splash some cold water on your face in the morning. That's going to help tone your vagus nerve. That helps to support your digestion and your inflammation regulation. Another thing you can do is to journal, or at the end of the day, do a brain dump. We used to call these brain dumps when I was, selling real estate. Just before you go to bed, that will help you to reduce any racing thoughts. You've got it down on paper. It's in a journal. It's out of your mind. You typically will stop thinking about it, right? So, these aren't luxuries. This is not a luxury to be able to do this. It's actually a requirement for your healing, especially if you're feeling wired but tired, right? Or tired but wired. Then tip number 2 is to support your skin from the inside and the outside. So your skin is like a mirror for your inner health, especially gut health, and inflammation, food sensitivities, stress, toxic overload. It can all show up as, redness, rashes, breakouts. It can show up as that dull, dry, or premature aging skin as well. Or, even more severe eczema, rosacea, or anytime you just all of a sudden you're like, my skin is so sensitive and I don't know why, it never was before, right? So just kind of a mysterious sensitivity. So let's talk about the inside first. So you can do things like bone broth or, collagen-rich soups. That's going to support the gut lining and provide those amino acids like glycine that will help to support detox and skin elasticity. Another thing you can do certainly is omega-3s. That's, you want to get that from your wild-caught fish, salmon, your fatty fishes like salmon, mackerel, if you like sardines, those two. Flax, or if you can find a very high quality supplement, that's going to help to calm down inflammation all over your whole system, including in your skin. You also want to kind of incorporate things like polyphenol rich berries, olives, olive oil, green tea. That all is going to help to feed your gut bugs and help to repair oxidative stress that can also show up on your skin, right? So now from the outside, you want to make sure that you are choosing very clean skincare. It's so important. We never really used to think about this so much, or at least I didn't. I don't think it was really a thing. But what you put on your skin, your body absorbs, right? So if you've got parabens and sulfates and junk, some of these can be mimicking estrogen, which can actually give you estrogen dominance, even though you don't really have that much estrogen, right? Because it is overloading the system. So you don't want to overload your body with things like those. Synthetic fragrances is another one too, but certainly your parabens and those hormone disrupting chemicals. You want to look for very nourishing oils like your olive oil based serums, squalane, natural balms. That's all going to help to restore the skin barrier rather than stripping the goodness from your skin, right? Avoid anything on an ingredient deck. This goes for food, skincare, anything that is that's got like it's a huge ingredient deck and has things on there that you can't pronounce. So when your skin and your gut are both inflamed, you don't just need a better moisturizer, you need to lower your total body burden, right? And then tip number 3 is to be curious and get curious, not confused. So here's the truth. I see a lot of women trying all the right things. They're cutting out gluten. They're drinking green smoothies. They're getting their veggies in. They're slathering on the cleanest products, but they're still not feeling any better. And that's because without knowing what's happening under the surface, you're still guessing, right? And you're doing all the things, but there's still something missing. So that's when gut testing can help. It can help to uncover pathogens or imbalances like, yeast or parasites or bacterial overgrowth, the bad bacteria, right? It also has inflammation markers and enzyme function, which will show how well you're actually digesting your food. Another marker that a gut test will show is zonulin levels, that can actually kind of measure leaky gut and immune stress, right? So it isn't about chasing more supplements. It isn't about doing more detoxes. It's about getting personalized clarity on what your body actually needs. So it's not about guessing anymore. It's about testing so that you can have a very customized protocol on exactly what your body needs. Because again, everybody's different, right? So functional testing is actually an act of self-respect. It means that you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and you're ready to stop guessing and you're ready to stop trying things that maybe work for a short period of time, but then all of a sudden, boom, here come your symptoms again. And it's time to actually start healing with a plan that was actually built for you personally, right? So if this episode has you nodding along and wondering what the heck is really going on under the surface, then I invite you to book a free 30-minute consultation with me. We can talk through your symptoms. We can look at what's, your lifestyle, your medical history. We can look at how personalized plans using labs, those lifestyle shifts, and some functional protocols can actually help you to start feeling like yourself again. So you can do that on my website at wendyhandy.com. Right there on the first page is a booking link to book your free 30-minute consultation. Right? And hey, I also want to remind you to keep your eyes and ears open because I do have something exciting coming up sometime in May. I'm not going to put a date on it, but you're not going to want to miss this. If you're already, if you're ready to take your gut and your skin health to the next level. I will be releasing more details soon, but I just wanted to give you that information. It will be coming. Like I said, I don't want to put a date on it. But I hope that this episode was helpful for you. And in the meantime, until next week, stay happy and stay healthy. Hey friend, I hope today's episode brought you some real value. If it did, would you take just 30 seconds to share it with a friend who might be struggling to get her gut in check? And if you're feeling extra generous, leave me a review on Apple. It absolutely lights me up knowing that this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to grab my protein shake and get my gut happy. I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another episode of Gut Fix. And until then, stay happy and stay healthy.